And of course, in the event you do not speak English, you are able to use your legal proxy, Kirsty.
Now, there is a case against that, but carry on.
Shall we begin?
Well, we were at Chatham, enjoying ourselves. Me and Guy, who is my witness, we were on stage singing. Well, I'm singing, he was playing on harp. And I'd given Boris to Marian to look after, and I thought Marian, upstanding member of the steampunk community. And as we were on stage, I proceeded to see her getting Boris drunk.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
So, lofty statement, a game of Druncus Rodentis. So, Marian, you are accused of the heinous crime of imbibing an underage rat.
I did not drink a rat.
These legal papers really need to be more clear. How do you plead?
Definitely not guilty.
Not guilty, but of course, that is for us to decide. And of course, Jared, are you her legal counsel?
I am.
Yes.
And accomplice!
Ooh, this is getting damn saucy. Now, before we hear our testimonies, we must all swear upon both steampunk Bibles. So I shall hand one to the defendant, because why not? And one to you. So, it's kind of hard to defend yourself against a drinking charge while holding a bottle of gin in one hand and a cocktail in the other. But
I think it's fine. I'm not charged with getting drunk myself.
But it proves you had alcohol.
there's a motive building.
She has alcohol at the moment, but not 7 months ago.
It proves I like holding on to my alcohol myself.
That's an interesting legal argument. I sustain that argument. So, to begin, everyone, hands on hearts. I promise to tell the truth.
I
promise to tell the truth,
The whole truth.
the whole truth,
And nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
And buy the judge a drink.
I'm not buying the judge a drink.
I slip that in every year, sometimes it works.
I'll buy the judge a drink if it gets me
Oh, and the bracket has begun already. Strike that from the record.
I've already bought the judge a drink.
That is also stricken from the record. Righto, so, now that we've taken our oaths, we may place down our books and begin. So, your argument, your case, presented, and in official tribunal form, we shall hear the evidence of the of the accuser first. So if you can both take a step to the side so the audience can see. Can you please stand here and present to the audience exhibits A through
Z.
Right, this is my first evidence, and this can be passed round.
Okay, so can we please have someone from the court to please pass around the evidence?
This is evidence that they were together.
Ooh, and they're presenting motive, opportunity.
Any location, I feel.
What is motive?
That's circumstantial evidence.
Do I pass it
Just hand it round and we'll go round. Carl, if you can claim it back at the end.
Date on that.
The defendants were once in the same room.
It's true. They make a point. The defendants have been proven to be in the same location at Chatham, or Chatham,
With
and
no visible alcohol.
where the alleged incident did occur. So we've at least established location.
This is the more damning evidence. This is a photo taken on my camera, which I had lent the defendant to take pictures of the band, which I have to say she didn't. And she's, yes, you can clearly see that Boris is being fed some alcohol.
Not to mention dereliction of camera duty. Oh, we have an objection.
She lent the camera to Jared. She lent the rat to me.
Ooh. So, possibly.
With that, whose hand is holding that bottle?
But whose hand is holding the bottle? That, perhaps, is where the case shall turn.
So yes, so we were on stage, and now I want to call my first witness, Guy Padfield, who was also on stage with me to recount what he saw.
Excellent. We have our first witness coming up, Mr. Guy Padfield, the auto harp expert. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and buy me a drink? Excellent. I'll hold him to that. I told you it sometimes works. So, Mr. Padfield, in your own words, please tell us what happened on that fateful day.
Well, while the Wandering Wordlets were playing their gig,
Available for bar mitzvahs, weddings.
Next to him, yeah. Do a mean version of
If we can maintain all advertising till the end of the performance.
They are really good.
we noticed
Sustained.
we noticed Boris was very, very much quite rat up.
It's okay, the miners have mostly left the room.
Quite rat-arsed.
Okay, and
There's video proof as well.
video evidence. Do we have a clip?
I do, but I don't know if Ben's prepared for that.
It's gone.
It is on Facebook.
Objection, Your Honour. The rat is always rat-arsed.
Sustained!
Sustained, thank you very much.
Objection! We've confirmed the rat in fact has no arse, and in fact there's a gaping void. Almost the size of one's hand, I'd say.
Perhaps the rat is as arsed as the hand that intrudes upon it.
Sustained. Moving on. So, continue. So, your testimony, you determined the rat was indeed past its point of no rat-urn.
I think so, and he was dancing as if it was a drunken wedding.
Dancing as if it was a drunken wedding, and I've been to many a wedding.
I can ratify this.
Oh. The puns don't get better, guys, just in case you were hoping.
Boris is a known mover and shaker.
But if we can see the video, you can see he's not really dancing, he's more kind of staggering.
More of a sort of ratusi.
He's body bobbing.
Alright, so, is there any more to the story you care to recount? Is there an aftermath?
There was something that happened afterwards as well.
There was something that happened afterwards, which you were present for, mister? He wasn't there for that bit. Okay, so in which case you may step down from the stand. Do we have an objection?
I have many objections.
I mean, we have our version of events when we're allowed to speak.
Where, of course, you will be given testimony, but after the accused has given their full testimony.
Okay,
You think that's fair, everyone?
We're the accused, just to be clear.
Yeah, I used to think
To be clear,
The accuser.
I think the judge might be drunk.
No, victim until chosen guilty. Get away from me.
Victim until proven true.
This is why we have a hammer, to defend myself against rats. Alright, come on then, tell us the next part of this tragic tale of twists and turns.
Okay, so this is following the gig, and Boris acquired a tiny little hip flask which was given to him by Marian.
I did give it to him. I did. I gave it to him hard.
So Marian has admitted to giving the rat the hip flask. Now, its contents, however, cannot be
It was
verified.
empty. It was very, very empty.
Yes, in fact, it's clearly sealed. Had they been open, this would have been an open and shut case. However, Exhibit C.
And there is the hip flask.
We have the evidence
Aren't I
in
generous?
We, however, need someone to confirm by smell the contents of the hip flask. Therefore, I call in.
I volunteer.
I think it was empty at the time, but the bottle that he drank from was not empty and it contained alcohol. But I think this has resulted in this poor rat developing a drinking habit.
Oh.
I think Boris was already a known lush.
Ooh. Harsh accusations. All right, now the final evidence picture. I believe we have one more.
Well, this is where it gets interesting. I always believed that Marian was the main culprit, but she wasn't at Hastings because she wasn't very well. But Jared was. And this photo emerged on Facebook after Hastings of Boris being given drink again.
I don't think you can prove who that was.
Well,
I'm not
That
sure
could be
you know
any
that
rat.
there was alcohol in that flask.
well, if you look at the evidence that appeared on Jared's Facebook page,
I mean, who even is Jared?
there is a
Objection, you're not allowed to use reductio ad absurdum.
So there is a comment that says, at least Jared's large hip flask does not appear to have been involved. Boris might have drowned. To which Jared replied, damn it, missed opportunity. So, I could
Drowned in
actually,
Water.
was Jared the main culprit and is Marian innocent?
This is a revolving door of a case, I tell
No,
you.
and also yes.
Now, I'm not entirely certain that counts as testimony, but there we are. So, thank you, Miss. Thank you. The case has been put before you. However, we must hear the defendant. Marian, if that is your real name.
Hello.
Can you please give your account of the events of this, the case revolves around?
I was merely a seat for Boris. Boris, I think you'll find, in rat years is over 250. So
I'd say he's like a day over 187. I mean,
so he can make up his own mind over what he wants to do.
above the age of consent, yes.
And Boris was enjoying the event. Boris stole a bottle of mine, which didn't have anything left in it because I drank it. And
Sustained.
proceeded to photobomb Jared's photos of the Wandering Wurlitzer playing that excellent set.
It was very good.
Sustained. So you're saying that, in fact, the bottle was empty in this photograph?
Completely, I drained it.
Well, this is conclusive with the...
No, definitely liquid in there.
Oh, so we're going to need an adjudicating opinion. Do any of you have a knowledge?
I'm gonna call my lawyer right now.
It appears that Mr. Foley had like to approach the bench.
Good evening, beautiful audience / jury. My, you're looking wonderful today. As my client has stated, Boris is at least 250 years old in human years, as he's been owned by Kirsty for, we are told, 9 human years. And in rat years, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think you get it.
Hang on, who's the second one, though?
Now this is a surprise!
I'm sorry, is Boris not one singular continuous entity?
So you saying this entire time we might have had a Boris imposter be on the docks?
Boris is not Boris.
Free Boris!
So you're saying that at the time these events took place, this is not the same Boris?
This is the same Boris.
Prove it!
I think we can.
Can the real Boris please stand up?
I can verify that this is the real Boris.
Ratify.
Ratify.
Well done.
Like Sooty, the original got a bit sticky because children with fingers came up and stuff.
How can we possibly trust you anymore?
We don't need to know why he got sticky.
So this is Boris number 2.
Okay.
Boris Pardue.
You had it here first.
So can we clarify the exact age of Boris Pardue?
This one is the same age as however long Sadiq Khan has been remembered.
If one of the audience could please go on Wikipedia and find out what years it is.
How can we possibly trust this?
Well, I mean,
There's no.
Boris
Can I see a
himself
birth
can
certificate?
ratify.
Oh. So in either case, at least 2, maybe 3 years, which in human years is 3 years, but in rat years is
It's about 180.
180. Are we willing to say that 180 is about drinking age? Yes. Audience decision.
Talking of drinking. Are there any hematology, toxicology results to show us about this?
Boris is a lightweight!
Well, from what I can see, all blood samples were negative for blood.
I think we need to see the evidence.
Boris doesn't have any blood.
That would be why they were negative, yes. Jared, I believe you have some legal counsel you'd like to recite in legal precedent.
We did take genuine legal counsel yesterday, and herein is what we discovered. So, Boris, in human equivalent years, is 250 years old, for about 9 years of the continuous presence of Boris,
timeline, yes.
no matter what his physical presence of 2 actual Boris beings has been. I think, if you get what I mean, you know, right?
Weirdly enough, that's exactly what it says.
9 years of Boris, 9 years of care from Rat, Kiara, Boris, Kirsty. Now, in that time, it appears from Facebook comments in the last 48 hours that Boris may have been a lush for years. It might be proof that Boris has had previous form, according to Facebook comments given in the last 48 hours on Boris's topical feed given on Kirsty's Facebook profile. Not so much, therefore, drunkifying a rat, perhaps, as ratifying a drunk. Thank you. So, as Alan has mentioned, there is no toxicology report, no evidence, no sign of inebriation actually given.
Well, there would be if there was the video.
What video?
The video.
Wow.
The video he took.
We cannot
Wow.
hold evidence in court that cannot be presented to the court.
So there we go. So, in fact, we have no convictions to be...
Well, we have someone in the
Shut up! No convictions to be ratified. Oh, come on! We have no indication of, now bear with me here, rat behaviour, grooming. Let us not nitpick. We have a vexatious plaguing, because he's a rat, lawsuit. Indeed, cui bono, who ratted us out? Who is the common misconception mole in this investigation?
He's a rat.
We smell a rat.
I put it to you that you were the one that got him drunk twice, and actually Marian was innocent, and you are just covering your own back.
So you're now changing the entire court case against us.
You
Is that
took
the case?
photos.
It doesn't sound like
You
you
were at
have.
Hastings.
a firm
and
leg to stand
you
on.
put that flask in front of him.
Means, motive and opportunity.
Sounds a bit confused.
Oh, no.
Yes, he was.
Oh, no, he wasn't.
I think we've found the
Now please, this cannot be a pantomime trial.
I,
Oh yes it can! Oh no it can't!
it's behind you! I think we found the hole in this hat case.
A rat hole. Thank you.
So it lends up to me to finally pass sentence, but ultimately it's the jury's decision to decide, has the evidence presented given you reason to believe?
Before we do that, can we describe what the punishment might be?
We could describe that.
Yes, that sounds lovely.
Quick count of children in the room. Good. A good hard spanking.
Administered by who?
That would be me, I'm holding the gavel. Carl, stop volunteering! Alright, Carl. Wait, Carl has surprising late stage evidence! No, it's more shocking than that.
Totally innocent.
Coral, what is this sudden late stage innocence?
Oh, innocence, that sounds good.
I found that Sadiq Khan became mayor in May 2016. So this Boris is 2.5 years old.
Hold on, an equivalent human years.
Equivalent is about 180 years old in rat years.
So rats do reach sexual maturity at 6 weeks.
We're only interested in liquor maturity.
One moment.
But their entire life expectancy is 2.5 to 3 years.
So does that mean...
So, senior.
Is
So-
Boris
Senior
dead?
rat.
Is Boris?
Is Boris actually dead?
Is Kirsty accused of being a rat necromancer?
Has Kirsty hollowed out the shell of a rat and shot her?
So wait a minute. I'm not certain the right spirits are on trial here. Because I think there's a ghost at work.
That could be the son of Boris.
You know what? It's
Boris at all. That could be the son of Boris.
this.
It's a system.
2.5.
According to the internet and ratbehaviour.org, 2.5 human years is the equivalent of 75 human being grown-up years. So he's definitely past the age of liquor alcohol consent.
In which case, the audience must make the decision. Can a 75-year-old human years rat,
Vulnerable familiar.
who, you know, has spent most of his life in a sheltered,
Scooped out
hat-based environment,
carcass.
Close to death!
with a very controlling mother, possibly consent to such
She
an action?
made me shove my hand up a rat's arse.
This is the portrait of a victim.
Now remember, please indicate on the rat where she asked you to.
Please indicate on the human's hand where the rat's bottom was forced.
In short, I think the audience has had, if anything, too much information. So, we will now make the decision. In but a count of 10 or so, shall we say? The audience, please, can they shout out, guilty or innocent for Marian's corruption?
What about a show of hands, because that might be less chaotic?
No, I just quite like setting off the sound sensor. But in which case, shall we have a show of hands instead? So, guilty or innocent? Guilty!
That's not very clear!
Guilty as sin!
So that's about 5 hands.
Oh, this could be interesting. How many believe innocent?
That's about 7 hands. There's a beautiful gentleman with double handing.
Will there be spanking anyway?
If you like.
Oh yes, but let's move on. So we're going to have to find the most morally upstanding individual in the room to make the final vote between the two.
There are no morally upstanding individuals in this room.
Huzzah! Has anyone got a coin? I'm willing to say that in my official judicial authority there has never been a case that has come closer to the line. But I will say, on the grounds that a 78-year-old rat can do what it likes, I declare this case closed, and I declare that Jared and Marian Foley innocent!
But we still love Kirsty and Boris.
We do indeed.
Super duper.
And we love them so much.
What a wonderful outcome. Can we give them a round of applause, please? We've just held court. Oh, super.